Holidays, everyone. It's Denise DiGrigoli live here on the HAN Network every Tuesday at 12:30 with a show called The Drive. The Drive, for those of you tuning in for the first time, is about all things people, places, and organizations that move us forward. It's motivational, intelligent talk with a little wit and wisdom. And today's actually the last show of 2015. And it's the third part in our three-part series of de-stressing for the holidays. Before we jump in, I want to talk to you about a mindful minute. We've kind of incorporated this into the show the past month, Mindful Minute with Denise, where the daily drive is really about how you fuel your mind, your body, and your spirit creates the lifestyle you live. So a couple of thoughts for today. Last week I talked about an app called Calm that allowed you to meditate and relax, whether you were standing in a busy line at the post office or you were in the middle of road rage in Manhattan to chill out. Today, my app is Moments, and I don't know if you guys have a picture of that. Moments will track how often you pick up your phone. So that's whether you're social media, you're texting, or you're cruising the internet, it tracks your time. So if all of a sudden in the hectic holiday schedules you're like, oh, I've run out of time, try this app. It'll actually give you a perspective on how you spend your time. Not on the phone calls you make, but how much you pick up that phone. And maybe for the new year, let's try to lighten the load and detox a little bit from your phone. And of course, I think it's great to start off every year or any time of the year with a little reflection. And coming from an artistic background, I know for a fact when you write things down, you give them a new type of energy, you kind of set the tone. It's different than just a wish. Something written down becomes more or less a goal, or at least steers you in the right direction. And for that, I think you can grab a copy of my Daily Drive, an agenda for your mind, body, spirit, and lifestyle. It's on Amazon, and it's on Denise DiGrigoli. I can't even say my own name. DeniseDiGrigoli.com. So that was a whole lot of whatevers, and we're going to actually take it down several notches as we talk about something that's sort of new and near and dear to my heart. I've been practicing yoga for about 3 years now, and many of you that know me know I have a very A-type personality. I'm a very busy person, and I like to be involved in a lot of things. And for me, relaxation is something I actually have to plan into my life. So I thought it was perfect to end the holiday season talking about relaxation, because we're busy, whether we're in these long lines or we're trying to prepare a dinner menu as we were last week with Ro or the week before with Janet. We've got some relatives that ratcheted us up at the holiday time. What can we do that might help us break it, other than the apps I've just recommended, that's really for our body, and that is yoga. So 3 years ago, I started a practice, and I had a lot of skepticism. Was it for me? Could I do it? Could I get in the mindset? Was it really going to work? Was it a lot of hocus pocus? And today I want you to experience what I know to be true, that there are simple moves and simple mindful things that you can do, not only this holiday season, but any time, that revolve around the practice of yoga. And I'm bringing on someone that I think is a spectacular, not spectacular person, but spectacular teacher in the field of yoga, my friend Robert Ortner. Welcome, Robert. Many people, I think, know you already in Fairfield County. You're kind of a famous personality in your own right.
You can see my daughter rolling her eyes now.
But you are. But tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
I grew up in the construction trades and just pushed and pushed and pushed. And it really wasn't something I wanted to do, but I was kind of drafted into it by my father, which helped me immensely. I made a lot of money off of it. But over the years, you use your body as a tool, you force, you're just getting the check. And sooner or later, you got to pay the bill. And I lost the use of my right arm.
Wow.
And that's what ended up getting me into yoga as a business, or as a calling, I want to call it. By just looking at it therapeutically, helping myself, teach myself. And I did formal training as well.
So the body heals itself is ultimately what you're saying?
Yes, if you get out of the way and let it. And that's something we'll get more into as we move through this afternoon. I have a quote that I use all the time, which is basically, stop trying. Now, from an American model, that seems like, oh my God, what do you mean? But if you're on your mat and you're trying and you're not going to get anywhere. You have to let it happen. You have to let it open.
To be open-minded.
Open-minded allows the body to be open. Now, there's lots more to say about it. There's much more that needs to be covered.
Well, we got a whole hour.
Yeah. We need like
5
many
hours.
hours. But
Yeah.
the point is we can cover a lot of useful stuff here in an hour.
So how long was it, did someone introduce you to yoga? Because I was a little skeptical, like who told you to try it? A guy coming out of construction doesn't sound like my ideal model that's going to flip over into yoga.
Years ago, when I was still in my teens, many years ago, a couple of friends of mine were heavily into martial arts, and they were showing me certain stretches and things, and it turns out they were barred from the yoga process. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I did those stretches. And I would sit, for example, Sunday mornings I would spend a couple of hours, and I would just read and stretch. And I just sit in poses, sometimes for half an hour. And again, without force, I was very fortunate to have that as my vibe at the time. And I think I just kind of got my body used to being open that way.
So is it a certain personality type that tries yoga and a certain personality type that doesn't? Because what I want my viewers today to say is, I can try this. I mean, I'm sure the regular yoga people that know you are like, yeah, Robert, he's on. But what about the people that are skeptics like I was?
Yoga is available to everybody. There's no exception. I don't care what body type you are, if you're a large person, if you're a thin person, if you've had injuries, all sorts of things. Again, if we approach it from a place of empathy for ourselves, love for ourselves, concern, care, ease, regularity of practice. I'm not talking full-length classes necessarily. It can be fun to take classes, but even 5 minutes a day.
You're going to show me something I can do in the Walmart line when I'm stressed out
Oh,
and want to
yeah.
jump the line?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do that after the break.
Lines in the store, traffic on the road, all these things. Airports, great places to check yourself, to listen to how that inner dialogue is working, to how we're...
Yeah. Boy, this is like, maybe we should have this on video within the airports this year. So tell me, I mean, I have experienced your classes in and around. Tell me where you teach and the different types of classes, because I want people to understand there's all different types of yoga, and then there's regular everyday yoga, that the yoga that we're talking about, that we are standing in the line. So
there's a lot of specialties now, a lot of people trying to brand their own thing. What I tend to do is, my demographic is people who want to take their life back, want to find out, how do I get rid of some of these pains? How do I open up again? How do I just calm myself down? I do basically therapeutic ideas where even in my bio it says you're the teacher, because anything you get in this show today or in my classes, you've let it in, you've taught it to yourself. If you didn't understand it and let it in, it wouldn't be there. It's just, if I'm just talking at you, it's just bouncing off if you don't want it in there. As you open up and relax into the idea, just try the idea. Nothing is going to be dangerous, injurious, stressful. It's just, you got to listen to what's going on.
the thing I love most about your class is you'll always say, don't look at your neighbor. It doesn't matter what your neighbor's doing. This isn't a show. It's not about the fancy pants. It's not about anything but listen to your body. And so when you really bite down on that and you actually just say, I can't do it like that girl. I can only do it this far.
Yeah.
In there, it becomes like, that is almost the healing vortex.
Yeah.
And then the next class, you may or may not be able to go a little bit further, but you still feel accomplished because you understand that that's what your body could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I say to people is they are the benchmark for the practice. So whatever you can do, whatever your body is able to handle at the moment, that's where the yoga practice begins and ends, on your mat with you. It has nothing to do with what all the masters have said, what people next to you have said. If your arm can only reach so far, that's the practice. Why worry about what the person next to you is doing?
Now, we live in a very stressful county for a lot of reasons, and we don't need to enumerate them right now, but do you see typical ailments in our community? Like, is it always lower back, or is it the shoulder that won't move, or it's the tension headache?
It's a lot of stress from, like, there's a lot of people in this area are corporate. And a lot of times they're at their desk, and instead of being at their desk, even if they have ergonomic stuff, which is often not going to help them because they don't apply it, they're sitting there like this. They're like this.
Most of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say to people sometimes in classes, when was the last time your head was on the headrest of your car? And I'll hear a lot of times, oh, my car isn't designed the right way. Nonsense. It may not be perfectly suited to you, but what I'm saying is if you're driving and you're like this, think of the stresses you're already putting into this. And if you look at it from being at a desk in a career length of time where you're wired into this, you think this ends at your desk, you're standing in line like this. Maybe not this
I get
far, but you get it. And the same thing in the car. If we're used to this, then we're always ready to go, right? I'll get one little story here, quick. My wife and I took a lecture one time with M. Scott Peck, a Road Less Traveled,
Yeah.
right? And he had talked about a condition he had called spondylosis, which is major neck problems. He had 2 high-rent surgeries and all this. So what he said was, he had a room of like 200 people, and he said to everybody in the room, he says, get to the edge of your chair.
I'm going to get to the edge
All right,
of my
try
chair.
it.
Yeah.
And if at home, if you're able to try this, just give it a try. Or think about this. He said, okay, hunch over and go like this. Now, brace yourself to be tackled viciously by a pro football team. Now hold it for 35 years. Okay? And I'm sitting in the audience and I'm going, how does he know? Because that was me. And you mentioned type A before. I'm a type AA+.
I
And
didn't know that.
it can't, this stuff, I mean, this is survival for me. And when I heard that and I started looking at my life and how stress is a choice, and it's a choice we often make. Now, I'm not saying things don't come at us to get us riled up, but if we don't have the ability to diffuse it, and that comes from being aware, it comes from just listening. And if we don't let go, it's not going to happen.
That's what the therapist Janet said first series. She said, when things activate you. So this is actually great full circle information for everyone, because if you're getting activated, hopefully you'll realize it. That's what Janet taught us how to do, and then we can apply some of your principles from today. To
So-
like, how do you get that out of your body? Because when it's in, it gets into the mind, you start rethinking it.
Awareness plays a big role, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people because we start to realize how quickly the mind drifts off.
Yeah.
Mine's very slippery. So what I've done personally is I've adopted traffic as a spiritual practice, but some people are uncomfortable with that word. So if we look at traffic as just an awareness vehicle, right? So where I say it this way, I used to be so reactionary behind the wheel.
Yeah. Road
And
rage.
Maybe not to that extent, thank God, but reactionary and not even being aware. And then I started becoming aware, and I would notice my responses after the fact. Then I would start to notice it more as it was coming, right as it happened. Then I start to notice it more before. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I see it as it's wanting to happen, and I'll just drive around it. Now, easier said than done.
Right.
And
That's practice.
Yeah, it's practice. And it's one of those things where you look at it for the long term. Everything you do, not only in a yoga perspective from physical, but the de-stressing ideas by being aware of what's going on, it's something that it's not going to happen like that. You have to look at it, you have to look at it, you have to be aware of it's there. Not beat yourself up when you fail. And fail's probably too heavy a word. But you know, it happens. Everybody's
Yes.
going to rise. You know?
Everybody's going to be activated. And I always say, even in my own home, the first key to success is awareness. If you have some sort of awareness, you're on the right road. And then, you know, it's a work in progress. There's no perfect life. And that's why we're on the Daily Drive every Tuesday to help you move forward. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to learn some interesting moves that can help us dissolve this holiday stress.
Easy ones.
Easy moves.
Discover the Wilburton Inn in Manchester, Vermont, a 30-acre historic estate featuring a turn-of-the-century mansion with elegant inn guest rooms and 7 large private vacation homes, perfect for ski vacations and holiday celebrations. Special offer on select rooms and houses. Stay 2 nights, get the 3rd night free through Christmas Day. CNN has called the Wilburton one of the top 8 mansion hotels in America. Call 802-362-2500 or visit wilburtoninn.com for more information.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at denalioutdoor.com.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at the Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com. Well, there's still a...
This is a real new twist on the drive. We're actually on our yoga mats. That is pretty interesting, isn't it?
Magic carpet.
We're on the magic carpet. Now, you may not have your magic carpet at Walmart if you're in line or in the crazy post office, but listen, at some point, relaxation is really important. So we're gonna start on the mat, and we're gonna eventually make our way to the lines. But we were talking off break. What about the props?
Mm-hmm.
What if I don't have time to run out and buy all the props? What can I do?
Okay, let me just preface that first with, a lot of times people get like turned off because they look at somebody sitting like this.
They get
and
scared.
I have thousands of mat hours, and plus my hips are pretty open. But if your knees are not like this, it doesn't mean it's wrong, because without getting into a big theory thing here, every bone in your body has a unique shape to your body, even though we both have femur bones and trochanters and all these things. But every bone's got a unique shape, and the size of your hip socket and all this thing. Those things have a lot to determine how open your hips are ever going to be in terms of just down.
Right.
So having said that, some people will sit on a yoga mat and they'll be like this, and like from profile, they'll be sitting there and they'll be like, I hate this, I hate everything, right? And
that
right
was
away,
me week 1.
Yeah, right away they're turned off to it.
Yeah.
So one thing I talk about all the time is, if you're sitting on the ground and you're having a hard time with this kind of thing, you can either go sit against the wall,
Yeah, which is
have
good.
the back, or you can just start by putting your hands behind you and
Okay.
feel how your abs relax, your hips relax. But now, having said that, if you're sitting and you need to do what I just said, and your knees are up, but you can't relax the groin and the inseam and everything, then we take blocks, or if you don't have blocks, you can use pillows, you can use any sort of cushion around the house, whatever it is.
Pancake mix boxes.
Whatever turns you on, right? So they can be used either flat down like so, or they can be turned. Sometimes people are tight to the point where they'll go like this, all right?
And that's okay. So that's what I
okay.
want everyone to know. It's okay if your
Yes.
knees don't do what Robert's do.
The thing about, here's what I'll say with that. When you got into bed last night, did you lie down and your head was an inch from the pillow and you were like, close enough?
No.
No. So the deal is, if you're not able to relax, if you're feeling like you're holding the knees up because there's stress here, you're never going to let your hips go. You could do 30 hours of yoga a day. It's not going to help you.
Right.
If you can relax it and then sit with it and just find your calm, which we'll get into that in a little while. Some tips on how to just do that. That's also dovetails into being in line and all that thing. So it can usually help. All right, so that, it's just something to really understand that.
So get comfortable.
Yes, if you need props, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're failing. Sooner or later, almost everybody is going to need a prop for something.
Right. Well, that was the other great thing about your class. I just got over it. When I needed a prop, I needed a prop. I tore my Achilles tendon, and I needed to go to class, and I needed 5 props. I needed 5 props.
So I say to people, if you were chilly, you'd put on a sweater. You wouldn't go, oh my God, what are they going to think? I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
It's crazy.
You put on the sweater because you're chilly. If your knee is, okay.
Use a block.
We adjust it. We work, because the winner is going to be your hip, and then from there, it's going to travel all over your body. Because something that's tense and left untended to, it's not going to stay put.
Yeah.
It's like the one person in the group that's all aggravated. The whole group starts to get stressed out.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are. Now what?
Okay. Next idea with this is we both have wedges here. And
Not wedgies, wedges.
You don't need the wedge, but I use them. I don't need to use them anymore, but I use them because they're just comfortable.
They are.
Anyway, it's higher in the back than in the front. And if you just put it down and just sit up on it, what it tends to do is it helps to relax the hips, the pelvis, the upper leg muscles, and the lower back and the abdomen. So you can kind of sit. And even if you're still a little bit like this, it helps a little bit. Now, if you don't have a wedge, you can sit up on a bolster cushion or something to get your hips a little higher. Now again, a lot of people are not going to have hips that are this open. But even if my hips or my knees were still up like this, I'm sitting up, gravity is helping and relaxing. Now again, I can use the props if necessary, but this is, in Zen meditation, they call it a zabuton cushion. And it's just, it really helps. So that's another thing that can work its way in. Now, to continue that idea, when I say to people, new people to the class, and sometimes you can tell they just want to bolt.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh my God, because they don't want to see or acknowledge how tight they are, and they think there's no use. 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes.
5 minutes a day. I'm telling you.
You can do anything for 5 minutes. It's less than placing an online order.
And even if you don't have 5 minutes a day, and I'm not going to argue the point with people, but 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
Even that. Generally, I say to people, it's probably 3 times a week more than you're doing it now.
Right.
Or at least once a week more. So if we just sit with it, I often email people pictures and ideas that they can use for the 5 minutes. If you sit up against the wall,
yes.
Sit like this against the wall. Suddenly the wall is supporting you. And even if you're like this, but if you started off, you sit against the wall and suddenly all this energy is now relaxed.
Yeah.
And this can now let go. And you can use the sitting against the wall in this position, this one, sorry.
That's okay.
Something like this. Any position of your legs at all. Because think about it. Every position you put your leg in is a hip-related movement.
I was in a yoga class, not yours, one time, where the teacher said a lot of emotions were held in the hips. Do you believe that?
Oh, yeah.
And so it was so funny. She said, through these hip releases that we do, you may feel like you might want to laugh, you might want to cry,
Oh, yeah. I've had people come into class. One friend of mine, her very first yoga class with me, she cried the whole class.
It is somewhat of a release. I mean, it almost feels like you've been.
And relax, gentlemen. You're not going to cry the whole class. I mean, it happens sometimes.
We're not
going
to make you do that today.
There's emotional releases that, think about it. Your body has been holding, and the more stress we have and the longer we're holding, it just doesn't magically let go. And especially if we keep going back to the trough every day, so to speak.
Right. Well, we keep getting activated.
Yeah.
So I've done that for 5 minutes, and I'm sort of relaxed, and I've done that for
various leg positions for 5 minutes.
Various leg, which
is later on down the road, you can spend a lot of time in a particular pose, but let your body determine what it is. And speaking of that is, allow your body to give you permission to move into things.
Right.
Important point, Because a lot of times people will sit and they'll be like, I'll see people in class a lot of times. They'll be like that, right? And they'll be, right? And they're not even here. I'm saying, relax, right? And they're like, yeah, I get you, right? Because it's intellectual at this point. They're not listening to the release factor.
So no matter how long it takes, let your body do it. So
Yeah.
assuming that we've done this for a little bit, what would be the next exercise or pose that we would build onto this?
Okay, so a lot of times people have back issues, things like that.
I have lower back.
Yeah.
One hip higher than the other.
Yes, all right, so to quote my integrated positional therapy teacher, Lee Albert, he said, everybody, by the time you're 40, you have hip imbalances. And I know I'm part of that group.
I'm
right?
not going to say if I am.
And no, I'm saying, I'm talking, yeah. So hip imbalances, according to Lee, are responsible for everything from bunions to migraines. Now think
Really?
about how important your hips are. Now we're not even getting into the energy part
my
yet.
bunion. Will tell my age.
No. What I'm saying is, your hips are the liaison from the lower body to the upper body. I look at them as lower shoulders, and I look at your shoulders as upper hips to get a
that's
little.
very interesting.
Because they have the same function, but for different roles, or
Yeah.
same. You know what I mean? The theory. Of
And
the
your
thing.
hips, my hips certainly can't do that.
No, but they're not designed to do that either.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get into shoulders later if you'd like, but with hips, if they're imbalanced. Like later when we're standing, bring this back up and I'll show you some ideas and we'll get into some posture ideas and so on. But bottom line is, if the hips are not happy, if they're not woken up, if they're not at least tended to and listened to, it's sustaining lots of problems. Now, past that, sitting up straight.
Which was very hard when I started yoga.
Yeah.
And I feel like I sit up
It's
straight
hard
now,
for
but
a
I
lot
didn't.
of people.
And even having challenges with my daughter who has scoliosis, so her default is here.
Yeah.
So I say, please, focus on it. Make it part of the muscular memory.
Yeah. Now, I'll say this now, even though we're not standing, because it is an important thing. If anybody has issues with posture, it is creating a chain reaction that's going to escalate over time. And I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh my God, right? But you need to tend to it. So one of the easiest ways to tend to bad posture is when you're standing in line or you're just standing around talking with friends, grab a wrist behind your back and stand at ease. Because it's almost impossible to stand like this when you're holding a wrist behind your back.
This is like
It
a
has
simple posture.
Yeah. Now again, what it does is it reignites, and it might feel awkward, but the awkwardness is just showing you how dysfunctional it has become. Now, just another side theory about this is when you stand like that, what you're doing is the muscles in the upper back and neck and shoulder area have been so stressed and overstretched because of the posture for what, 20
And the
years?
computer.
Yeah. And then what happens is you stand up and you start stretching out these over-slackened muscles, and you start to slacken the stressed muscles. And that is key behind a lot of what I offer in different parts of the body. There's a routine for every part of the body that can help you release the stuff that's been chronic over the years, right? Like I say to people a lot of times to give them a pass, so to speak. You've accomplished a lot in your life. Think about it. Raising families, having careers, all the stuff that we do, plus all the stuff you want to do for your fun. We don't always have time to do the right thing. We don't always have time to get the right things accomplished. So it's useless to beat ourselves up over it.
So
Oh
let
my
that
God.
go for 2016.
Let it go.
We're starting
No, I'm not
fresh.
telling you now to let it go and sit on the with a box of donuts on the couch forever. I'm saying let it go in terms of being so serious and hard on yourself about fixing it. A friend of mine used to say, if you did everything you're supposed to do for your body every day, you'd never get out of the house.
Well, that's true.
You know,
That's true.
you got to look at what is it that your body needs. Like, so this morning in my 9 o'clock class, there was one woman whose feet were so tight she couldn't curl her toes under in table pose. Now, I didn't want to make an issue, I wasn't making an issue out of it, but I was saying, if you don't start working on your feet, in 5 or 10 years, your feet are not going to work anymore. And then your balance, and I mean, again, I want to get off on a tangent here, but no matter which direction you look in, you can say, okay, here's a whole chain reaction and series of things that if you don't listen to them and tend to them, it's going to create trouble down the road. I say to people often, do you know someone who can't get out of a chair without help?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to be that person in
No,
10 years?
I don't.
Of course not. I've never met a person who says, oh yeah, right?
So give me a couple simple moves that I can do every day that are whole body. I know we could focus on hands, feet, shoulders, tummies, but primarily what you see is the crouch, the lower hip, the back. Give me some simple moves.
From the seated position, we're in this one already.
Yeah.
What I would suggest with this is if you're looking for more energy in it, okay, you can just simply lean forward. Now, leaning forward seems so simple, and we're often stuck in our heads, so we're sitting there leaning forward, but we're not tending to the fact that are our thighs relaxed? Is your butt relaxed? Is your lower back relaxed? Once you relax anything and everything, suddenly the pose grows. Now you realize what you really have right here. And now the ego sits here and tries to say that you're not doing anything. Nonsense.
You're not doing a real yoga pose.
Listen to your body and you'll feel it.
Yeah, because
now, if this isn't enough, be careful. You can go to your elbows.
See, I can't.
And if you can't, then you can do this.
Yeah.
Again, these things are wonderful, right? I work with some people sometimes where, you know, it'll be the person who's so tight, and if they just want to have a little bit of forward, I'll say, okay, put the block down, put your palm on the block, forearms distance, palm on the back of your hand. Now let your elbows just let go. Now you just added the weight of your arms to this, and then just droop over. Now, if you follow this logic over time, your body lets go, lets go, lets go, next thing you know, 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 right? So where does it end? I say to people all the time.
I'm only going to dream of that day.
But here's the thing too. Brief story. Years ago, when I thought it was all about the depth, and the, you know, oh, look at this. This pose called Baddha Konasana, which is on the top 10 of poses people love to hate, okay? Because it's total inseam, it needs the hips to be free or you're falling backward. But I was thinking that this was the pose, okay? 2.5 years it took me to get there, from the time I started yoga. And the day I got there, I was totally disillusioned. Because I'm like, where's the brass band? Don't you understand what this means? And then I realized it doesn't mean anything. It's just another place. It's because, and another thing for like a self-pass here, someone who sits in a pose like this, and they're more like this, so sit against the wall, right? Then I want you to show me that someone who's sitting against the wall like this, maybe with blocks, is in any different pose than somebody who's down here. Show me the different muscles you're using. It's all an arbitrary concern of the ego at that point.
Right.
You know? And I'm not discounting the fun and the accomplishment of somebody who has gone deeper, right? But let's keep it in perspective. Let's not look at it like this is our goal, because it's not the goal. The goal is freedom.
Okay, that's the goal, freedom.
The goal is, and like I said earlier.
And better life, right? Because if your body can move and you're free, then you do more things that make you happy.
If your tendency is to knee-jerk to this, to the tension, to the reinstall, go back to the trough, until you free up the body and its ability to open up and just to be functionally able to stretch out, how are you ever going to let go of that tension? It's like I say to people, go like this, make a fist with your hand.
I could do that quickly.
Yeah, you can't get the cookie now, but can you?
And on that note, we're going to come back with some standing poses. You got me there. It's The Drive live every Tuesday with Denise DiGrigoli, 12:30. All things that move you forward and fuel your life. Thanks, guys.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, They know your dog's name, too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your local destination for the best of the holidays. Shop Stewart's for the freshest produce, certified prime rib roasts, magnolia wreaths, fresh baked pies, gingerbread houses, Christmas candies, and the season's best wine and craft brews right next door at Stewart's Spirits. Shop Walter Stewart's, 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to The Drive, everyone. It's Denise DiGrigoli every Tuesday here on HAN Network with all things that move us forward, how you feel your mind, body, spirit creates the lifestyle you live. If you're just tuning in now, we have Robert Ortner, a renowned Fairfield County yoga instructor with a plethora of experience, and he's got a great sense of humor. And Kate, our news producer, has decided to join us. And the fact that I'm shorter than Kate does not mean I'm sitting down. I'm actually standing. Okay, Robert. So it's the holiday de-stress yoga practice we're interested in now. What are we doing? We're crazy, we're activated, we're ratcheted up, we're in line, the menu's going south, the crabby neighbors are coming over with the nasty relatives. And we just, the back is burning.
Okay, so again, awareness. Now what I say to clients all the time, if you're in those scenarios in your home and you can't get away from it, go into the bathroom, close the door.
Oh.
Right?
Okay. That's a good
and
one.
just
bathroom break.
Find your ability to relax. So let's play with that right now. So first of all, stand.
Stand.
Now we're going to combine this with standing in line at the store as well. Okay. So if your knees are locked, all right?
Yeah.
You're stressing out everything, right? So just assume that we stand with locked knees, which is common.
I always do.
You lock your knees, now suddenly gravity takes over and everything starts to go like this.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe not that dramatic, but over time it just gets more and more. There's no room in the body for extra stuff or for stress that then creates inflammation or stress on, you know, the non-aligned, the non-postured things. So anyway, you unlock your knees. So do that. Now, sometimes when I say that to people, they're standing like, no, just unlock your knees, okay? Now, feel the difference, all right? Now, feel your feet on the ground, right? But connect to it. I say this to people sometimes and they get this look on their face, and I'm like, are you feeling your feet on the ground, or are you just thinking I have feet? Thinking you have feet's not gonna help you, right? You know that, right? Feel them on the ground. Feel your knees soft. Now feel how your legs are supporting you. Now here, check this out. This is very popular with people. Relax your butt cheeks and your hamstrings.
Okay.
Now since they're yours, I want you to touch them and make sure they're relaxed.
You want me to touch my butt on TV?
Yes.
Okay, you said so.
Okay, so now they're relaxed, but you're still standing here. So you didn't need them before. How many people stand here with locked knees and tense butt cheeks and hamstrings?
Right.
Now, your thighs are doing a moderate amount of work and your calves are doing. Now, to get into something that's useful with this is you're standing in line at Stop and Shop or wherever, right? Check it out. Listen to it, feel it. You don't have to start doing all this. You just have to feel your way into it. There's a yoga class right there, all right? Other thing is, are you standing there like this? Because it won't be long before the knees start to lock and everything starts to go down drain. Your knees are unlocked. Grab a wrist behind your back. Now maybe you can't grab the wrist behind your back, but you can let your shoulders be softly down your back. So again, may I? We're opening and stretching out what's normally slackened due to too much slouching, and we're slackening the stuff in the back that's normally too stressed. Plus our knees are soft, and we're retraining. Habit, right? Habit, we're going to keep going back to it over and over until we're aware that it's a habit. Habit is anonymous by definition.
Right.
It's why quitting smoking is so difficult, for example, because everything you do is associated with a cigarette. So when we start to think about the different vibes in the body and listen to it, but it's not just once. This is not a set it and forget it situation. You have to customize it every time you're doing something. Listen to it. And then when somebody comes into your sphere of life that is one of those people, be aware, right? It gets into other topics as well, as like getting rid of people in your life that are toxic and all this thing. But what I'm saying is, when you have the unavoidable situations, all right, how do I feel right now, right? What is going on? Am I being taken over and going back into this inside? A lot of people are like this all the time, inside. Now, some of them are visibly like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, imagine living in that body.
Wow.
You don't want to be there.
No.
So it's awareness. It's just listen to it over and over again.
So when you have a moment and you're in a line and you want to get mentally attached to the fact that you're not where you need to be, that would be the time or the trigger point to say, check my body.
Yeah.
Let me distract myself by checking my body.
Yeah. Add to that, you don't need to read about what the Kardashians are doing today. You don't need to check your Facebook status again. You can stand and play with this.
And usually when I think I'm standing with good posture, it's uncomfortable, but this is very comfortable.
All right. Speaking of discomfort, though, that's a good point. What I'll say to people often, like if they have hip imbalances, if they're or the foot's turned out, all this kind of thing. First of all, don't beat yourself up. It is what it is, and there's reasons why it's that way. But what I say to people is, at home, either in just your underwear or naked, in front of a full-length mirror. Now, that's why I said at home. If you stand in front of a full-length mirror and close your eyes and set yourself up to stand up straight and be symmetrical with feeling. Now open your eyes and assess what you have without judging it. That's the biggest problem with people, right? I'm going to judge, oh my God, my butt's too big, or whatever the hell it is. Look at it all now. See what it is. Now visually correct it. All right? Now, once you visually correct it, now close your eyes again and feel how weird it feels. That's showing you how the weirdness, or the correct posture, quote unquote, feels strange. And this is why it's so difficult sometimes to get back to it. I'm telling you, if you learn how to stand up straight again, if you soften your knees, if you don't stress out that alone will go a long way.
That's called the holiday party in a mirror, isn't it?
Well, if you have
I'm going to have to remember that one now. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot to say about all that stuff. Now, let's get into something else in regards to functionality.
Right.
Strength and balance. I call it a strength and balance ratio. Now, we're not going to do balancing poses right now.
We can.
Well, we can, but the main point I want to say is we're back at the store again, right, or the post office. If you, with your knees unlocked, all right, let's just lift your right heel.
Right heel.
All right? Now, just notice how your left leg just asked you a question. Now go to the tip toe of the right big toe. And notice how the left leg asked you another question. Now, you may wish to take your toe an inch off the floor and just stand there. You're going to wobble. You're going to shake. Now, do you feel how much demand, so to speak, is put on the body? Your whole body is integrating into the need that you're putting on this right now. You're strengthening yourself by standing here. Now, what if you don't want to stand like this? Then put your foot just a quarter inch off the floor, and no one has to even know. And I do this per customer.
This is strengthening?
Wow.
Feel what's happening in your leg.
Yeah.
Feel how even up here, everything has got to be functional to keep you from falling over. So when people get into yoga class, go to the other foot. When people get into yoga classes and they're doing balancing poses and they're getting all frustrated, I'll say, okay, listen to the fact that there's a deficit of strength in different areas that is not allowing these balancing poses to take place. So if we don't go back and handle the deficits, which you can handle just by doing something like this.
And no one needs to know.
No one needs to know.
So I'm straightening my posture and correcting and
and you
building
see,
strength.
I mean, then we can get into other stuff where it's like this, and then you can start doing other things. But
picking the person behind you in the line.
So here, I've worked with lots of elderly people over the years privately, and I'll have people say, okay, This one woman, I work with her, she couldn't even navigate her own home anymore. 3-story house, basement and upstairs. She couldn't get to her whole house anymore. So I put her at the kitchen table. I had her hands on the table. I had the chair at a nice place. And I says, okay, I want you to slowly sit down. And then I want you to slowly get up. And she did a couple of those and her eyes were just wide. She was like, oh my God, right? I says, here you go, half a dozen of those a day. Or hold the door frame and just do some, remember Jack LaLanne?
Yeah.
Jack LaLanne, amazing man. I mean, he offered so many valuable things to just keep things maintained. It's a big thing with me. Maintain and just allow function to be there. If you don't have the strength, how can you have balance? Right?
Okay, so I'm in the line, I'm doing some of these things, and I'm home now. And I'm cooking and I'm running around and I feel that pinch. Stress, tired out. What can I do? Because I've got the doorbell ringing, the guests are coming in.
All right, so this is something we kind of got sidetracked when we were seated before, because the twist seated is a lot easier. But we'll play this right now. If you're standing, you can hold the door frame, and you can take your feet and simply walk your feet a quarter turn to one side.
Okay.
All right, so you're holding the door frame.
Okay. Oh,
now walk your feet, now feel what's going on. You see what I'm saying?
That
right?
feels really good.
Now, you're standing there with unlocked knees,
Yeah.
and you're relaxing. You're relaxing your body, or we should say it this way, relax what you don't need. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, you just feel that. Because even though the ego would go, this is nothing, it is not nothing. If you spend a half an hour like this, it would hurt to come out of it.
Yeah.
Because your body is even right now opening up to the shape of the pose. The shape of the pose creates itself. So you don't need to try, you don't need to fight with it. You don't want to. You want to relax into it. Okay, come back to center with your hips and go the other way.
And everybody, you have a door frame at home? I'm for sure of it.
I think they're installed in most houses.
Yeah, most houses. So this is a no-brainer for everyone watching.
Okay, so you just sense that. Okay, so let that go. Seated, like we were before, you can just twist and use your arms to hold you softly. Again, it's the point of don't listen to the little naysaying voice in the back of your head. And if you just said what voice, that's the voice I'm talking about. Let the body relax into what you're doing. If you let it relax, it'll work for you. It'll open up. If you open up a little bit, then you'll be on to the next thing.
Now, we were in a class not too long ago of yours where you did some massage of the face.
Yeah.
And that really was so serendipitous for me that day because I had to be somewhere and I felt like my whole face was ratcheted up.
Okay,
and I think that's a good holiday one,
let me
too.
say one compound word. Age lines. Got your attention now? Okay, now, let's do this. Let's rub our hands together. Relax your shoulders, because sometimes I'll do this with a group and I'll see people like this, right? Relax. Now get your hands nice and warm. Now pre-relax your face, whatever that means.
Try.
Now take your palms and fingers and put them on your face on either side of your nose. Now feel the warmth fully on the face. Now feel the warmth from your hands penetrating the skin and muscle of your face. Got a lot of muscles in your face and a lot of tension is held there, okay? So now, as you press slightly into your hands, make circles with your hands.
Hope this isn't going to screw up my makeup.
You're sliding the skin around. You're not sliding your hands on your face. You're moving the muscle and the skin around. Got it? Go the other way. Shoulders relaxed? Are you breathing?
No, I forgot to breathe.
Yeah, see what I mean? And that's another problem. We start concentrating on things and our shoulders hike up and we stop breathing. Now, stop moving. Keep your hands there. Pull your right hand down a little. Push your left hand up a little bit. And despite what Granny used to say, your face will not freeze this way. But feel how the muscles under your hands are going, oh my God. Now go the other way with your hands. Pull one down and the other up. Yeah? All right, center them.
Who would have thought this was yoga?
Now pull your hands apart a little bit and just feel your face stretching nicely. And then push the hands toward each other and feel the face going in. Okay? Let it go. Now tell me your face isn't relaxed.
Yeah.
So all the muscles of the face just went from this to that, right? We've all seen people walking around like this, right?
Causing
Imagine what kind of headaches that creates.
Get the 11s.
All right, now, the other thing is, from there, I mean, there's a whole series of things we don't have time for now, but I want to give you another thing regarding the face and especially the jaw this time of year or in general. If you've ever had grinding issues, clenching issues, it's a nightmare to get rid of. I've had them myself. Very hard to get rid of because it's always there. Yeah. So what I say with that is, and this is very popular, take your arms like this. So now we're going to use the tips of our elbows and we're going to reach them to the bottom of the wall behind us as we take the jaw and jut it out like this. Now,
Only I would do this on TV.
yeah, see? Now, this may hurt your throat later because you've woken up some stuff, right? So here, now pull the left elbow back and the left jaw to the top of the right corner.
Oh.
And then stop and go the other way.
Look like a weird boxer.
Right? So, all right, so let it go. Yeah, but the thing is, later on, you might feel some tenderness in your throat. You're not having a sore throat. You're just realizing how much you just did. The
That
tension
feels
people
better
hold
alone
in here.
already.
So now, another idea. With your mouth closed, take your index and middle finger and just bottom lip, feel your teeth through your lips. You feel the indent of your teeth?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I say that because I want you to move your fingers now to the hook of your jaw.
Yeah.
Now you're not on the bone, you're up a little bit, you're
Yeah.
on the muscle
Yeah.
between the fingers and the lower molars.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be able to feel your teeth.
Right.
Feel muscle there. Now press in and aggravate this. Then with a little pressure, roll your fingers around and deep tissue massage the strongest muscles in your body.
Oh. Yeah.
Now what if you've got clenching issues?
Yeah.
This is a great, these will not be comfortable. And you're a little high on that. You're down there.
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
All right?
Oh, that feels.
Now there's one other thing you can go in both directions and stuff. There's one other thing you can do is the index fingertip. Go to the top of the jaw where it hooks into the skull. There's a dimple there.
Yeah.
Now just drill little holes in that. Open and close your mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
TMJ. This should be very tender,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to go crazy with this.
Yeah.
But you just wake it up a little bit. Relax your jaw.
Yeah.
Especially if holiday time is tough for you.
Yeah. This would, to me, would seem like a great release to do these kind of muscle exercises before entertaining, because not only is it a great distraction, but you never do that.
Yeah.
So by virtue of doing that, it just seems like it's a
And
release.
think about it this way. A lot of times when there is a problem or an imbalance and it causes pain, discomfort, stress, we don't really ever explore why that's the case. We just want it gone.
Right. We
And
take a pill.
don't. We take a pill or we do some other distraction and we just want it gone, but it's guaranteed to come back under those circumstances.
Right.
We want to find out why is it here, and that usually then comes back to awareness and it comes back to a commitment to yourself. And I'm not talking about hours and hours a day. It's just listen to what's going on periodically. Like what I did when I was first getting out of my type AA plusness. And not that it's a bad thing to be that way, all right?
Thank you.
It's not.
Thank
I mean,
you.
it's served us well, hasn't it?
Right.
Made me a lot of money in my life. But the point is, it often is a double-edged sword and it can really take you over and sustain your tension. But what I'm saying is, I put affirmations that were customized to me, and I wrote them on a piece of cardstock, and I made it the size of my sun visor, and I put it on the underside of my sun visor, and I just would put it down and I would read it 20 times a day. And I didn't even fill up the whole piece, but I had probably 28, 30 of them there, and I would just read through them. Now this seems like, that's not going to help. It will help.
No, it's the daily drive down. We get it completely
Yeah,
here.
because you're getting that, you're reinforcing, and the important thing is, pick things that are relevant to you. This is a totally personal thing. Just like everything we've been talking about here, it's personal to you. This practice is not an off-the-rack thing. It's like you're custom tailoring something for yourself while you're doing all of these ideas. And all of this just thinking customization of, what do I need? I'd say to people, be constructively, positively selfish. Now understand what I said with that. I'm not telling you to neglect things, but like on the airplane, there's a reason they want you to put your mask on first. You're useless to anybody else. Moms, you're useless to anybody else if you don't take care of yourself.
And we say that all the time. It's going down. Put the mask on first. And on that, we're going to take a quick break and come back because the hour has just zoomed by.
That's often the case.
I feel way more relaxed, so thanks for having me on.
We're so glad you came on. All right, it's The Drive. We'll be back in a minute, and we're going to wrap up this year of a wonderful year on HAN Network here live from Shelton.
At Innovative Health and Rehabilitation, we provide an advanced level of care to resolve symptoms and minimize recurrence. Our experienced professional staff design and implement effective plans to return individuals to their prior level of function. We specialize in the treatment of orthopedic and sports injuries, pre-post surgical rehabilitation, performance enhancement, strength and conditioning, vestibular rehabilitation, balance and gait training. A convenient location and flexible scheduling is available to accommodate your needs. We look forward to providing you with a comprehensive level of care to meet your rehabilitation goals. We are also affiliated with 3 high schools, Norwalk, West Hill, and Stamford. Our certified athletic trainers cover the athletic events at the high schools to prevent, treat, and educate student athletes and injuries. Our certified athletic trainers also take part in the New Canaan Youth Football Program. Reach us at 650 West Avenue in Norwalk. Call us at 203-852-9903. Innovative Health and Rehabilitation.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Marty, Kate, Rob, Eric, Josh, Joe, Mario, everybody who's made this year at the Drive a spectacular experience, not only for me, but I hope for all of you. And I hope you're going to join us back here in January. We'd love to hear your ideas, so you can tweet us on Twitter at Hand Network, CT, thank you. And you can find me at DeniseDiGrigoli.com. It's been a great pleasure, Robert. I mean, we could go on for hours and hours. You may have to be a regular here next year.
Anytime.
I know you want to say a few closing thoughts for people that are thinking about yoga, simple moves for the holiday to distress, and any other things you want to tell us before we sign off and say Happy New Year.
One of the most important things to take away from this is it's not about the depth. It's not about the aesthetic. More isn't better. It's just different. Okay? So just melt into what you've got, take your time. Whenever you hear the naysaying voice in your head, there's a message. It's trying to derail you. Don't listen to it. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. I believe my website was up on the screen a couple of times. My schedule is on there if anybody's interested. It needs to be updated a little bit, but schedule is there. My email is there. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I want this to work for you.
And I want to tell you that 3 years ago, I was a skeptic, and I can tell you for sure I could have never sat like this 3 years ago with all my crazy lower back issues. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, my
Happy
pleasure.
New Year.
My
Namaste.
Namaste.
And to all of you, thanks for listening and tuning into The Drive. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you have any suggestions for shows, you know where to find us. Happy New Year. We'll see you the first or second week in January. Take care.